Hello and welcome to the Super Important Show. Tonight, we're sending nudes into outer space. Well, not us, but nudes are being sent, and it's an early night, so you don't know, maybe we will. The animal uprising has begun, this time in our nation's capital. And finally, we go all MCU and try and figure out whether or not it's better to time travel or travel to parallel universes. Plus, so much more. And to do all that, I have two amazing co-hosts with me, who I would love to introduce you to. First up, she's my partner in internet low-level crime, Heather Jules Booth. Because let's face it, we're not crime lords. I know that.
No, not at all. We'll make crime out of these stories.
Yeah. And secondly, our special guest, put your virtual hands together and have your comedy minds burst for Annie-Sage Whitehurst. How are you doing?
Oh man, yeah, I would love to get those minds bursting. I will say we are recording, but yes, I am a criminal mastermind, so I'm glad to give you that balanced viewpoint for your podcast.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but I figured, like, of the three of us, you're the bad girl. Like, you know what I mean?
You're
like
the shiftiest. I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's branding,
what
right?
a way to welcome a co-host, Dustin.
Right, no, I'm just
So
saying.
we're done.
The three of us, you're the shiftiest.
Right? No, but like, yeah. I mean, just because not because you're bad, but because Heather and I are just too good for our own. Like, I'm way too good.
We're
Heather,
sad.
Yeah,
Is what we're
right.
saying.
That's what I'm saying.
You're cool. We're sad.
Right.
That's how I'm going to translate that.
Right. I meant all that in a good way, but she said it in a good way. So that's. Annie-Sage, tell people who you are. Tell people what's going on with you.
Hi, I'm too fucking cool for this shit. I am an actress. I am a writer. I'm a performer. I'm working on a couple different shows and projects right now that hopefully we can link to. And I'm excited to see what is going on with this wonderful show.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Let's get into the show because we have all sorts of crazy stories. Heather, why don't you kick us off?
I would love to kick us off for this week's I can't think of the word, session of, that's not the word I wanted. Oh, well, of World You Crazy installment. That's the word I wanted.
Yep.
This week's installment. And it's a doozy. It's titled Aggressive Wild Turkey is Terrorizing Washington, D.C. Residents. You might think that that is a political reference, some kind of joke about politicians. No, it's a turkey, and it's terrorizing the residents of D.C. Turkeys have, of course, been having a comeback in terms of population. For a while, the population had fallen, and now their population is over 7 million. The only problem is that when they get into local neighborhoods, they can become a bit of a menace because they destroy gardens and chase after residents. And specifically in DC, there is a turkey that has been attacking cyclists, runners, and walkers on the Anacostia River Walk Trail. Apologies to my friends in DC if I mispronounced that, but this turkey has been attacking them for the past 5 months. Ranger Joe, whose real life name is Joe Cashman.
Nice.
I want to take a second to.
No, it's
take
not.
that in. It really is. Joe Cashman, aka Ranger Joe, is how this is worded. I'm like, which is the real one? He encountered a 3.5 foot tall fowl in 2021, and the bird began to chase them while they were on their bikes. And at first, Mr. Cashman said that he thought it was funny. He's like, this is funny. And then he said they started getting complaints because the turkey had gotten more and more aggressive, and it just is now attacking unsuspecting residents who are just like biking or wandering by. And it says the turkey jumps out of a bush and claws you in the face and knocks you off of your bike.
Yeah. Michelle's got a theory. She thinks that the turkey voted for Bernie and is pissed off, which is
it's possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
Who knows where we'd be?
Could be. I think, harkening back to our lead into this, maybe the turkey is like trying to commit crime.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe.
Right. I mean, look at this. Oh no, that's the wrong thing. Look at the shady turkey.
Oh my gosh, is this the video?
I have the video.
Oh.
I'll go to the video. Let me go to the video. This is a video attacking this bike person. She's doing a good job. Like,
Is she?
I feel like she is. Yeah. She's putting the bike between her and the turkey, so if the turkey attacks.
Yeah, but that's not the waddle of a confident person that's not going to be a victim.
True, but it's a very intimidating turkey.
Oh my God, there's signage.
The thing about I'll just let it loop for a minute. The thing about this story, because like I was watching the actual clip, and so the person, like right before this happened, this other guy got attacked by the turkey, ran away, and then turned back and saw that this lady who was coming down the path was now getting attacked by the turkey, and started to film it. And there's just like the only audio like that the reporter said was the lady just yelling at him like, "Hey, can you help?" And I was like, "Yeah, exactly. You know what it's like to get attacked by a turkey, sir. You got attacked by a turkey like 30 seconds ago. Now you're just letting this poor lady like
Oh my God.
Do this circular dance with this turkey.
Yeah. So
Wait, I need to pause this on something for a second because I want to seeing if I can find this thing that I want to read. I'm still watching this turkey just circle this woman. This is amazing. It's like a weird dance. It's like a turkey dance.
Yeah, I can go back if you want. You want me to go back?
No, I've loaded it. I loaded it up on my screen as well. I want to look at the signage. There's like a sign that showed the things you need to do if accosted by a wild turkey, and I just really want us to pause on that because it looked like some funny things, like shout at the turkey, clap your hands.
I can try.
Stomp.
I can try. Yeah. Let me see.
See if I can find it.
See if it lets me do it. I don't think it will, but no, it will not let me do it. But I'm sorry.
I got it. Here we go. Aggressive turkey. Okay, aggressive turkey in this area. If approached by the bird, do not be fearful. Be assertive. Clap your hands. Talk loudly or shout at the bird. Do not run or step off the trail. Try to avoid it. Walk carefully. Like
this is my writer, by the way.
This is your writer to do this. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It looks like Joy wants to take the Shady Turkey as a new improv team name, which is a good one. Right. You already have the logo. You already have like this weird turkey guy.
Joy is correct. It does feel like a paso doble, which I think means we're about to see this turkey on Dancing with the Stars. It's coming up.
Very possible.
Yeah. I think the turkey just wants the bike. Let's be real. It's attacking bikers. That turkey wants a bike.
Yeah. And Michelle is theorizing that perhaps it's just a performance art turkey.
Performance art.
Yeah. Which is, it's hard out there. There's not a lot of spaces, with everything happening with COVID. It's hard to get stage time. So good on you. Good on you, turkey.
This is authentic audience outreach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wish we had video of the turkey riding the bike, just like riding off. Great.
Just flicking a cigarette away. It's happening.
Yes, absolutely. Giving like.
I just want to go back to that turkey headshot. It really is like a Marlon Brando of turkeys. Like it's like a young on the waterfront kind of Marlon Brando. Like it's got a little sadness, a little gravitas to it.
Yep.
And a little hair. I didn't know turkeys had hairy noses.
Little nose hairs, Top of the head too.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely the best of them because he had like the silly one where he was wearing funny glasses and stuff like that. So like, as headshots go, he chose the right one. Everybody does the headshot from the 1980s stand-up.
I feel like you look at that turkey headshot and there's like no questioning that turkeys come from dinosaurs in some way. Like evolutionary. That looks like some kind of prehistoric
demon.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I admit I don't immediately think like, oh, clearly that turkey's a dinosaur, but okay. It's your story, so I will go with you on that.
Who's got T-Rex for dinner?
Cool. Anything else, or we want to move on to our next story?
I feel ready to move on.
I feel like we bullied the turkey enough.
Yeah,
We have. We definitely have. That turkey's coming for us.
Right,
We're on its list.
He's been bullying other people. He tried to attack that lady. He deserves it. All right, Miss Annie-Sage, your turn. Take it.
Okay, so this is very interesting. Something that Dustin casually mentioned to me at the bar, and I said, I don't think that's a real news story, and it is. So apparently, NASA is sending nudes of human beings into space to lure aliens to Earth because they're very confident that they got the right angle. Yeah. So according to this article, NASA's sending nudes of human beings to space to try and put out signals that we are maybe friendly, maybe interesting, maybe receptive. I'm not really entirely sure what the MO here is. But there's part of the article says, to make the unclad humans more inviting, the man and the woman are waving in the picture. And can we throw to that picture, please? This
of course we can.
Renaissance portrait. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what we're sending to
space.
space.
Got a lot of questions.
I have way more questions than I thought I would at the start of this story.
Okay,
yes.
Go for it.
It does look... Yeah, Heather, go ahead.
So you started talking about this story, and I thought we were sending actual photographs, nude pictures.
Yeah, that's how they get you. That's how we got you.
Of course, my first question was, where are we getting these nudes from? Are people consenting to sending these nudes, or does NASA just have a secret file of nude people? And then you put up what is essentially MS Paint, MS Paint of nude people.
Right, but you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Michelle in chat is saying she's turned on. So clearly it's working.
And then is this carbon chain? What's over here? Is this carbon chain?
Yeah. So it seems like they're giving him a whole bunch of cheat codes to who we are, what we're made up of. And I don't know a lot about science, but it looks to me like it's not written in English. I feel like it's symbols. I feel like they're going through a lot of extra trouble to really tell people how to get us, Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like this is the kind of thing that you would make if you had access not really to the internet, just an IBM computer, and you needed to print something out that was kind of vaguely erotically exciting, but also your parents knew was homework.
It's your science homework.
So
I mean,
are you saying you're vaguely erotically excited by this picture?
Well, sure, it's DNA chains. Look at that.
Yeah, of course.
Look
they
at
go
that
all the way down.
Strand over there.
Yeah, I feel like it's odd that they specifically make him have abs, the way they're trying to do the V. Yeah, he's got the DV going. So clearly he's working out. Her downstairs area is pretty generic. Not even generic. It's not there. It's you wouldn't, if the whole point is to show how we work anatomically. I feel like she's not helping. Is all I'm saying. Okay. Not that I'm blaming her.
Let me put this in the notes that Dustin wants more detail sent to the aliens about vaginas.
Dustin would like the aliens to have slightly more graphic depictions.
He's got some notes.
Right.
Yeah,
right. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it, do it. There's no reason to show the dude's penis in general, but if you're gonna show the dude's penis, then don't why is she a Ken doll? That's all I'm saying. Or a Barbie doll. That's all I'm saying. Why is she smooth?
Okay, he's got another question. Why is she smooth? I feel like we could just
make it down the notes.
Well, no, I mean, you know what I mean by there's no
distinct lack of labia, a distinct lack of hair.
Do you just want to know personally?
No, I am familiar.
I think we may have hit on the actual thing happening here. Dustin's
I'm familiar with lady parts. I'm just saying that they're not showing lady parts.
Dustin Diodato, familiar with lady parts.
I am.
I know what's going on down there. Yeah.
I am, and I'm just saying that if I were to come to this picture for more information, it would not be provided. That is all I'm trying to get at.
Well, I mean, listen, this will tell you that the one person's not going to have the dangly bits versus the other person.
But the thing, okay, I have so many issues with this. First of all, the dangly bits. I thought for some reason I assumed it was a loincloth. I didn't think that they were actually trying to go into detail. And I don't understand why everyone's smiling and waving. That's never worked for me.
Because they're trying to be friendly. They said it in the article. They're trying to be friendly.
They're like, here's our DNA.
Right. And like, just like, if somebody sent you a nude picture of themselves and they were waving, would that make you want to or not want to come to that planet? Because I feel like it would make me not want to come to a planet.
I just don't know what the MO is.
Yeah, and of all the things, like, I don't think that's the thing that would make me go like, well, fuck, I only want my nudes if they're scowling.
No, it's just, it would be creepy. I'm just saying, like,
creepy.
Right. Look, like if you look, I am of this situation where I have not received nudes because Joy and I got together in 2001 before there were like digital cameras because we're super old, and we don't send naked pictures to each other. But I'm just saying that like if somebody sent me a picture and they were like, hey, in the nude, I would just be like, that's not right. I don't know what's wrong about it, but it's not right.
So much about Dustin on this podcast. So much.
Well, it's funny that you call out what year it is, because in this article as well, it does say that in 1972 and 1973, Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11 missions also featured illustrations of a stripped down man or woman. But there's no detail about facial expressions or demeanor or general, attitude. And I do want to apologize because I'm realizing now that I'm looking at more than just the dangly bits, that these are Japanese characters. So that makes sense as to why I don't know what they say.
I actually didn't realize. I was wondering what was around them, and I wasn't sure if it was just like brush strokes or. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't stop focusing on what was happening.
Well, I mean, the tri sausage hanging there. I mean, how could you not?
I'm very curious to see what it says around the sides. If that's some sort of like direction or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Only I'm trying to think of people who'd be watching this, and I'm like, I don't think we have anybody who knows. Who knows this? If there was in the 70s, the aliens must be so confused. Yeah. Yep. This is accurate. This is very accurate.
Also, big Joy sex vibes. Yeah.
This is wild.
Yeah. Again. I just keep coming back to the fact that I feel like sending nudes to anybody's a bad idea. Like,
what are they hoping to get? The aliens to come here, or like an email?
An email.
I mean, they
email.
They also.
That's what the aliens are sending, an email.
When I was looking through the article, it said that like they also sent like where we're located, and some of the scientists were like, "Hey, maybe don't do that. Maybe like don't tell them where we are, because if they're evil, they might kill us." And it's like, well, if they're evil, they're gonna kill us anyway. Like, I don't know.
Like, I feel like we're all figure it out. Humanity's taking care of that themselves, so I don't know for the aliens.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the 3 cardinal rules is the 2 cardinal rules is you don't show your face in nudes, and you don't tell them where you are and when you're going to be there. You have to act safely. And I feel like, there's no one looking out for any of the people over at NASA, and they're just too thirsty. Mm-hmm. And humanity's going to get extinct. And I've been telling people that
NASA too thirsty.
Once again to Michelle. Yes, Heather, they want the aliens to come here.
God damn
it. Both applause and boo, both at the same time.
That's a duel.
Do we want anything else, or we want to move on to our next story?
I mean, I personally, I'm now intrigued. I'm curious to see what these pictures look like in the, from the 70s missions. And I'm just thinking about what would I personally want to send out there? How would I try, if I wanted to entice aliens to come visit, what would I send into space? And I think it would just, I don't really know, but I do feel like it would at least be more artistically pleasing, more representative. They sent, the LP into space and music into space. It should be something a little more technologically advanced. I feel like this is a little insulting to send them something like this.
Something more tasteful is all.
I think music is probably the thing that I think that's which is what they've done, but I think that is probably where I'd go to.
Yeah, I
think it's the most interesting thing culturally that we can like offer.
I still think there's always a weird assumption associated with it of like, if you got it, you'd be like, oh, sure, I'll plug this USB drive into clearly, because we also have USB technology here, or I'll play this record because clearly we know how records work. Like, it's all assuming that they'll like figure out how our technology works in the first place. But I guess like if you just sound like a Polaroid into space, it would be.
It's gonna look like that. Like that thing that we just looked at, basically. Yeah. Man,
cool.
First contact. It's coming.
Oh god. All right. Moving on to our third story. So our third story. Let me bring up my notes on it so that I can properly explain it to you guys, because it's weird. So when you hire a security guard for something, what's like the one thing that you hope that they do? And this isn't really like a trick question. It's like, what do you hope this security guard does?
Has a license.
And a gun.
Yeah. Even less than that, provide security.
Yes.
Yeah. Is the biggest thing that you're hoping that a security guard does. Well, Alexander Vizaliev, I don't know how you say Russian words, was hired as a security guard, and he was there all of one day. He was working at an art gallery, and his job was to protect the art at the art gallery. Within like hours of being there, he got bored, wandered around the art gallery, and came across a picture that is this picture right here. This picture is
also nudes that we've sent aliens.
Yes. Is Anna Webskraya's Three Figures painting. It is worth $850,000. And what Alexander felt was missing from this picture was eyes.
Did he put faces on it?
He did. Now, I mean, he's not an idiot, right? He didn't just go draw on art. He was looking at the art and then came across some teenagers, and those teenagers felt like the art needed facial expressions. And somehow those teenagers convinced him that it was their art that was hanging in the art gallery, and somehow convinced him that it was totally okay to draw on the art in the art gallery. So they gave him a Sharpie, and he drew faces on the art. So now it looks like this. He just drew eyes on it.
Right.
But it cost $850,000.
Right. And clearly is not the original artistic intent.
No. So he got super fired from the art gallery because he was because somehow he let a bunch of like teenage girls convince him that they were the artist. And it's like, even at that point, don't you go like, well, if you're the artist, go draw the eyes on it. Like why would you have the security guard that's been working there like less than a day? I mean, draw on it.
What if that's what these kids were waiting for? What if these kids have been the whole time like, look, it's a new guy. That's exactly how I think they talk to. It's a new guy. Let's get him.
Right, but he should still know better than that, shouldn't he? Like, what do they teach you in security guard class?
I mean, yes. Well, and I feel like the baseline of like being an art gallery security guard, like it has to be like rule number 1: don't let anyone touch the paintings.
Right, including you.
Right.
Annie-Sage, I feel like I cut you off. What were you going to say? Something?
There's just so many different layers to this. One, this is how dangerous, improv is. You get a bunch of people together and they just start bullshitting, and all of a sudden someone loses their job.
Yeah.
But I love the idea that this is, that this guy was like, oh yeah, these are the artists, and of course they would come in and be like, oh, you know what, I forgot. I forgot to draw eyes. Can you do me a solid? Can you just take care of it for me? And I hope that in that moment he was feeling like he was doing something good. Like I hope that he felt like he was doing them a solid. Because he lost his fucking job.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But here's the thing. Like, let's say you're right. And I want to believe that you're right. If you are right, like, there's not a lot of commitment there. You know what I mean? Like, that's the simplest version of eyes. Like, give them, like, pupils and stuff like that. Like, that's phoning it in, is all I'm saying. So, like, if you're trying to be good. But don't, like...
I will say, Dustin,
yeah,
because I did not read this story ahead of time. So as you were taking us on this journey, there was a moment where I thought you were going to say that he put googly eyes on them, and I was about to say, like, that would have been phenomenal. Like, don't fire
this we
him.
Understand. Yeah.
Right. And if he did, I would have loved that. I mean, I still love the fact that he let a bunch of, like, teenagers convince him that their art was in the art gallery.
Totally our art. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is the artist, the actual artist, is the artist still alive?
Oh, I have no idea.
I would love to hear what their reaction was if they are, but I don't know. Probably not if it's in a gallery.
One of the things I saw was basically that was that it was pretty fixable. Like at first they were just, I think they were able to fix the painting for like, I think they said like $2,500 because they were able to basically just dissolve the Sharpie part of it and keep the thing going. So it wasn't a big deal. At first the art gallery was going to be like, yeah, it's fine. We'll fire him, but like, don't do anything. And now for some reason they were like, you know what? Maybe send him to a forced work camp for doing that. So like he is actively like on trial and may go to like Siberia over this, which I feel like you should have bigger... Like there are bigger things that you guys are working on because this is all like in Russia. This is all, I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. This is all in Russia. I feel like, yeah, you got some shit going on right now that like, this isn't that big of a deal.
Wow.
Michelle mentioning this as Mr. Bean energy. Fair. Enjoy commending your comments on dangerous improv. Yeah. People start a bit and then all of a sudden it goes way too far.
Yeah.
So,
it's just Siberia. That's just horrible.
Yeah. So if you're pending security guard out there and you're considering believing teenagers really about anything, don't. Because they're always lying to you.
Well, especially in an art gallery. Like, I feel like that's where you send kids to an art gallery and not all of them are going to appreciate it. So of course you're going to have kids who are like messing around, who are like, see if we can get the security guard to draw things on the painting.
They did interview his wife, who's actually like a COVID nurse, and said like he's a normal man, but he can be naive like a child sometimes. And it's like, yeah, apparently
his wife said that.
Yeah, and here's
naive like child,
right?
Stupid husband.
He is nice but naive like child.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Like he didn't finish that day, but not because of the eye thing. Like he had been like in the army and gotten like shot a bunch of times, and he was like, my war wounds are hurting, I'm gonna go home.
No!
So he didn't even like finish the day. He finished like 4 hours and then he was like, peace, I'm out. I painted on the picture. I drew on the picture and now my body hurts.
Sad turn. What?
Yeah, it's fucking
He's
weird.
Like a veteran?
Yeah, but like it seemed I didn't get the sense that he was like a veteran in like a good way. Like
what? I guess it's Russia.
Yeah. Because they interviewed some people who were like formerly worked with him, and it was like he would get in trouble a lot for like being overly aggressive. So it was also like maybe he's not wonderful. Anyway, on that note, before we continue and we move on to what the fact, I always forget to say to like and subscribe, but please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us a ton. It lets other people know that the content is fun and interesting, and it lets you know when other episodes are airing. So please take a moment to like and subscribe. Which brings us to our next segment, which, as I am hitting all the buttons, is What the Fact, where I present you guys with 3 different questions, and I present you folks in chat with 3 different questions. You try and tell me which one you think is true, and it's a good time. These feel like maybe they're on the easier side, but maybe they're not. Who knows? You guys will tell me whether or not you think they are.
Don't set us up like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay. So how did Tenacious D Jack Black learn to play guitar? As we all know, Tenacious D is the greatest rock band of all time. And Jack Black is a big part of that. How did he learn to play guitar? Was he a child prodigy that taught himself? Or did at 23, Kyle Glass give him lessons in exchange for Jack in the Box? Or was he childhood friends with Dave Grohl, who taught him? Heather, I'm going to go to you first.
I think B is a comedic red herring.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with C.
Okay, so you're playing the psychology game and saying that B is a distraction.
Yeah,
okay.
It seems likely. Like, I don't know. It feels likely that he would have been friends with him, and he was just like, "Hey, man, like, let's play this thing."
Cool. Joy is with you. Joy wants it to be C. So, Annie-Sage, what do you think?
Well, if I recall from The Pick of Destiny, which I believe is 100% accurate.
Yep.
And a biopic, I'm pretty sure he taught himself as a kid, because Dio came out of the poster and sang to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then... But he is friends with the devil, who is Dave Grohl. So I want to say A.
You're gonna go with A.
I'm going to say A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joy went with C. Heather went with C as well. You're going with A, and I find it fun because it is B. I tricked everybody.
Oh, bummer. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. They used to just be hanging out, and he's like, "Hey, I'll teach you how to play guitar if you give me free food," and it worked, and they became a band. And side weird fun fact about this: the first appearance of Tenacious D on the big screen was actually in Biodome. They were playing on the quad in a scene in Biodome.
Oh, wow.
So,
Did not know that.
yeah. All right. Question number 2. How does Nicolas Cage determine what animals it is okay to eat?
Oh boy.
Is it that he looks into their eyes and they tell him if it's okay for them to eat? Is it does he eat them? Oh, I wrote that wrong. Oh yeah, okay. If they eat other animals, then it's okay for them to eat. Or C, by how they have sex. Annie, I'll go to you first.
Well, I just feel like that just makes me think of the picture going into space, and like now they're going to probably figure out how humans have sex. So now the aliens are going to figure out it's okay to eat us. You know, I want it to be A so badly. Can I ask you a question?
I will try and answer it. Go for it.
It's not personal.
Okay.
By how they have sex, do you guys think that means like if they lay eggs, or if like how they give birth? Like, do you think it has to do with the reproductive system? Because I feel like that would matter to Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is the actual sex act.
Well, you know, I don't feel like he's a very judgmental guy, so I think it's probably B.
Okay, you're gonna go with B. Joy is gonna go with C. Heather, what do you think?
My gut instinct was to go with B. That I'm not going to pretend to know Nicolas Cage's train of thought, but it seems like I could see him being like, well, if you're in the food chain and you eat other animals, I can eat you. It's not a real Nicolas Cage impression.
It was really good.
Yeah, right. It was uncanny. He was right there in the room. I do really like, though, Annie-Sage, what you just brought into it of like if they give birth versus if they lay eggs, because that would be a really interesting concept to think like, oh, if it gives birth kind of like a human, I'm not going to eat it, versus like, oh, it's laying an egg. So now I'm curious.
Okay.
But I am going to go with B.
You're going to go with B.
I will.
All right.
And I also agree A is hilarious.
The actual answer is C. It's in how they have sex. For example, he does not eat pigs because pigs have sex in the mud, and he finds that dirty. That was the example that he gave.
It's not.
Of all of the religious, like, legitimized reasons that people have not eaten pigs, it's because they fuck in the mud?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Like,
he's so quirky.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Whereas
That's definitely not how, like, even with that being the answer, not why I thought that was going to be the answer.
The two examples that they gave was that pigs have sex in the mud, so that's a no. And fish are very clean and very organized in the way that they do it, so then that's okay to have sex, to eat.
Except when you do it too much and it makes waves, as we've learned in prior podcasts. Yeah.
True. So that is how Nicolas Cage determines what animals he's willing to eat.
I understand, like, things get okay.
Yeah,
this makes me think that he's waiting for them to have sex so he can eat them immediately afterwards.
Right.
He's just, I don't know.
Wow.
I mean, they just had a good time, I guess. So it's like, that's the time. All right. Question number 3. What was a blind pig during probation?
Well, you can't follow up that question about Nicolas Cage, and this is the question. Come
That's
on.
true. I didn't,
Oh my god.
Okay, so Joy in the comments, before we get into this, wrote, beware if he starts watching you, which is a fair comment, but then that would imply that you are having sex in front of Nicolas Cage. And I disagree with that statement. I do not want to have sex in front of Nicolas Cage. I do not. I mean, I guess it depends on how he asked. All right. What is a blind pig to? What was a blind pig during probation? Was it an attraction to get around liquor laws, a police officer who ignored the law, or an alcohol truck that would hide in the woods and serve people? Annie-Sage, I will go to you first.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously, I don't know how far back pig goes to refer to police officers, but that makes sense if it was B. I like the idea of a bar or an establishment saying, hey, we got a blind pig in here. You want to come check it out? And then there's no blind pig. It's just liquor. And I feel like C, maybe that would make sense as like an old-timey folksy thing of calling it a blind pig. I'm going to say B. I'm going to be safe and say B.
Okay. All right. Heather?
I agree. I wonder how far back pig goes, because that was immediately, I thought that too. I was like, oh, pig, we go close. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say A.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to pick A, and it's a dumb reason.
Okay.
But because you know how the Bar Rudy's has the big pig outside?
Yes.
I want to believe that pig is from Prohibition, and that was an attraction to get around liquor law. I don't even know if Rudy's has been around that long. It probably hasn't. But
it probably has.
It feels like
Same
it has, right?
bartenders.
That floor feels like it has. I'm going with A.
Okay. Joy is agreeing with you. So when it comes to this type of thing, she's a good person to agree with you. And it is right. It was an attraction to get around liquor laws.
I really wanted to.
For the very reason that actually that Miss Annie-Sage suggested is that it was illegal to sell alcohol, but it was not illegal to give alcohol away as a free side element with something else. So they would invite people in to see a blind pig or to see, a cat in a top hat or whatever it was. And then you'd be like, oh, and since you paid, $10 to see this, here's some booze. And that technically didn't break the law in the way that, it was originally written. I think it got fixed, but that's where blind pig got connected to prohibition. So, because there are a couple of blind pig bars called the Blind Pig or something like that in the city. So
there definitely are. Yeah.
So
I wonder. Yeah.
What?
I wonder if it was what is the most innocent sounding thing that we can secretly do this illegal act under, or if they were like, all right, what do we got? We got a blind pig. Is that anything?
I feel like we've known a couple bar types and bar owners, and to me, I feel like Annie-Sage it might be that version where it's like, what have I got down here? Well, I got a top hat, I got a cat, and I got a pig, and it's blind. There we go.
Right. The pig just ate the cat. Can't do that.
Nope, can't do it. Well, you know what? It's the booze for everybody.
But like in the dumb examples that I gave, I feel as though like if you told me like here's a cat in a top hat, I'd be like, okay, that's probably adorable. But if you told me like here's a blind pig, I'd be like, I won't really know that from a regular pig. I don't typically like interact with a pig in a way where I would benefit
20s,
from
so
it seeing.
Dustin, I feel like it's the 20s. I think we're thinking too nicely. It's probably an animal with its eyes gouged out. Like, let's be real.
Oh no, you're right.
I know.
Probably,
I don't like that either.
Right.
But
you just went real dark on that. But like,
why would you invent that?
Right. Is that something that wait? Is that something that you would pay to see though, versus a cat in a top hat? It's wearing a goddamn top hat.
I would go in to see a cat in a top hat. Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, I would go in and then you would be like, "Do you want booze too?" And I would be like, "Oh, I mean, okay, sure, but like you got me with the cat in the top hat."
Mm-hmm.
That feels more like English, though. American definitely feels blind pig.
A blind pig, yes.
Eyes gouged out, yeah.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, that's so upsetting to me now. The image of the...
Sorry, Dustin. You were just like, how would I know it's blind? I'm like, Dustin, it's the 20s.
Right, it could be wearing sunglasses.
Sure.
That way you would know. It could have a little stick. It doesn't have to have its eyes gouged out. Not everything that's blind has its eyes gouged out. Thank you very much.
It's the 20s. I assume everything does.
Just covered in blood.
Now I'm
covered in blood, darkness, blood.
Now I'm offended on behalf of all my other visually impaired people, including pigs, that you would treat them that way.
Heather, why would you do that? That's horrible.
Exactly.
And this was my last day on the podcast. Nice knowing you. Thank you. I've enjoyed my time.
All right. Do you want to get us into Would You Rather?
Oh yeah.
It is that time again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have our first Would You Rather today, and this is a tough one. Would you rather gain all the happy... Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Would you rather gain all the happy memories from a loved one or delete all your own painful and negative memories? I misread this question when we were going into it, and at first I thought it was that you were gaining happy memories of like a loved one.
Right, meaning...
But your wording says from a loved one.
Right, meaning that like you could go to like your mom and be like, hey, give me all of your happy memories, or go to your grandmother and say, give me all of your happy memories, and then you get those happy memories too. Or you could just delete the ones that you have, like delete the bad ones that you already have in your brain.
Interesting. Okay. I always go to the guest first, so Annie-Sage, I'm gonna come to you first.
I mean, I realize that this means, okay, so does that mean that they lose their happy memories and they like never experienced that in the first place? But then it doesn't matter, because if you go to your loved one, then it's like, oh, mom, give me all your happy memories. And then that probably includes like your conception. So I feel like I wouldn't want everything that my mom or a loved one thinks is happy. I feel like boundaries exist for a reason. I learned that in therapy, which is why I would say delete your own negative memories, because I'll just relearn lessons if I need to, and I feel like that would probably make everything a lot easier.
Yeah, Michelle agrees with you, saying that that would include sex, and she was reluctant to choose that for her. Yeah, because I don't necessarily need to remember every time like a loved one did it. So I'm with you on that one. So you're going with delete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Dustin, what are you going with?
I mean, I was torn until the sex thing, and then that really sort of like locked it down for me that I don't need to know all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with delete negative. I mean, to Annie-Sage's point, how much therapy time would I save from just deleting all the deleting all the negative stuff? It was just all happy. I wouldn't need to be in therapy the way that I am. So I would save money, and I would avoid seeing like my parents do it, and I don't need to see that.
Which turns into a negative memory.
Yeah, it definitely turns into a negative memory.
I just think it's really sweet, especially so close after Mother's Day, that all of our parents had like probably really good sex lives. That's nice. But we can stop talking about that. But does it take the memories away from them? Because that makes me, that the word gain makes me feel like you would absorb their happy memories and they would be left wrinkly, sad little raisins without joy.
Heather, I'll leave that up to you.
Wrinkly, sad little raisins without joy. What an image. I love it. It's like the California
I think that's just my
raisins.
grandma.
Just like I actually, so it's funny because when I first read this question, I mistook it and I thought it was that you just gain memories about the person, not that you gain from them. And then in realizing what the wording of the question meant, my gut instinct was that they retain the memories as well. Like you both then have the memories. I also am with everyone who's been saying this because my brain went to, happy memories. No, I think there's some happy memories that are just private that I don't need to have. I don't need to know those things. Like I don't need to. Yeah. So what makes one person happy? Or like, what if something makes them happy and you find out and you're like, I don't like that makes you happy. You know, like what if there's something that's upsetting that for them is happy, but you're like,
But what?
That's interesting. No, that's a really good point. Yeah,
like,
it's so subjective.
I don't know. What if like you have a loved one that's like, I mean, my brain went to something dark, like that they like have done something that like could be a bad thing, or like they're bigoted and like for them they're happy, but you're just like, ugh.
But your brain's going to like, I don't want to remember the time that like my loved one like killed somebody and really liked it. Is that
right?
Is that what
exactly.
you're saying?
Like, what if it's like such a huge responsibility of you get this like joy, and we're thinking like, oh, it's great joy, it's all happy, it's just like that time I ate an ice cream cone or something. But what if there's some kind of darker joy? So
yeah,
sure.
And also the sex thing, like no one wants that. Yeah. Because if it's like, and we're all going to parents, but like, what if it's a loved one, like a spouse or something, and you're like, even that, I don't want to know about like their past sexual exploit happiness. I'm glad they were happy, but I don't need to know about it.
Yeah, that's true. I made Joy lie to me that she never dated anybody else ever, and I am okay in that lie.
And it looks like the little lady with the Ken doll thing that you're obsessing over, going to the aliens. Yeah. I immediately was like, delete negative memories, because I'm a person who, and I feel like I'm amongst decent company that understands the feeling of fixating on negative memories. So I would love to get rid of them, so I don't have to fixate on them and have them in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Think about negative things.
So then that would bring us to question number 2, which is Miss Annie-Sage.
Would you rather, two very interesting choices here. Would you rather visit heaven for one day or visit hell for one day? And I'm going to put this out there immediately, a stipulation that whatever it is, it's your own personal interpretation of what would be your heaven or what would be your hell. So you have 24 hours, I'm assuming. I don't know if time is going to be working the same in both places, but 24 hours in one or the other. Which would you choose?
Who do you want to send it to first?
Dustin, let's see you first.
Okay. I thought about this one for a bunch. I went with visiting hell because I think I'd want to like know what it's like. Like, okay, so here's the thing. Like, let's say all of this is true and there's a heaven and a hell and all that, and I don't know that I necessarily believe in it, but let's just imagine that I did. If I know what heaven is like and I don't go there, then like that's gonna bug me forever. But if I know what hell's like, then it's like, if I go to heaven, then it's like, cool, thank God I missed that. Or if I do go to hell, it's like, okay, well, I've been prepared for this during my living time. So I feel like knowing what hell is like feels like it would benefit me greater, and especially if it's like super bad, which is probably not great. If it's super bad, then I will very much like become a monk and do only good things, and watch The Good Place a lot and figure out what goes on the list of good things. So I'm going to go with visit hell, even though I imagine heaven is probably more fun to spend a day in, and I might just get super PTSD'd by being in hell for a day, but I'm still going to go with hell.
Wow.
Heather?
Wow.
What are you thinking?
Dustin, I just think what an interesting sort of almost Inception-like concept that you had of like, well, at least if I see it and I know that it's not good, what if I don't get in and then I'm going to be I respect that because that's not where my brain went. And I think that's really an interesting way to think about it. So in my brain, if these places exist, I'm going with old school, like hell is awful. You're forced to like see terrible things happen to like loved ones. And like, I imagine it's like, you just are forced to relive suffering and see terrible things and like just be in constant, both physical and emotional pain. And the whole image of the flames is always stuck with me. So throw in some fire for a good measure, which I hate. So I would not want to visit there. No, not even for 24 hours, not even to see like a reminder, like don't do bad things. Like again, if we're operating in this whole belief system, like let's just pretend that we're operating in this world of like, don't do bad things because you go to hell. Like I know what I think it could be. So no, thank you. I would rather get to spend the 24 hours and see heaven, which I like to imagine is like a cool place where you get to like just chill out and rest and see cool things happen and see like old loved ones and pets and stuff. Like that's what I'd love to think it is. So yeah, I'll spend 24 hours there.
Okay. Interesting that you said you're going to see loved ones. Like, I guess it would probably be interesting if you get up there and it's like, oh no, Aunt whatever didn't make it. Like,
I mean, listen, that's a good point, right? What if you make it up and you're like, oh, I'm going to see people. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you get up there and you're like, oh, grandma killed a guy? Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Mystery.
Yeah.
I do love
but it was
mystery.
Hitler. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
All right, so you're going with heaven.
I will, yeah.
Okay. Annie-Sage, what's your vote?
This is interesting because I don't really believe in the like the traditional heaven hell thing. So at first I was like, oh yeah, I would go to hell because if I go to heaven and like, if everything exists, whatever, then I would just like be missing it, or I would be, disappointed to come back. But then I was thinking, Dustin, with your answer, I was like, why would I sacrifice a potential amazing 24 hours in heaven just so that I could, come back here? I think I would go visit this heaven instead.
But if you didn't make it, you don't think it would like haunt you forever? Like knowing that that's out there?
Any of this. So I'm thinking about, do I want to go to Atlantic City or do I want to go to, Vegas? Like, I feel like these are both nonsense places. It's going to be interesting no matter what, and I'm not moving there for good.
Jumping into chat for a minute. Joy is making the argument that hell would probably be scarring. Yeah. It would. And Michelle's going to go, bizarrely, Michelle's going to go with heaven. I just think I've never seen Michelle not go with both for chaos, but especially on this one, but she's going with heaven. So you're going with heaven, which I think means that heaven wins. So, all right. So now we know what's going on there. Which brings us to our last question. Although, Chad, if you have a question that you want to throw out, by all means, we will do our best to tackle it. Brings us to our third question, which is, if you could choose between time traveling to parallel universes, or dimensional travel, and I'll explain the dimensional travel, just being like, we only know of the 3 dimensions that we are aware of. What if there are other ones and you could travel to them? Which one would you travel to? Heather, I'm going to go to you first, realizing that option 3 is confusing.
Well, yeah. So time travel, we just mean any time travel, right? Like,
yeah, backwards,
time
forwards.
travel, like I get to go wherever I want in the timeline.
Right.
Parallel universe is like, in other words, you're saying like mirror universe Star Trek, like you go to a different version of, like I could snap my fingers and I go to a different version of 2022 universe.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in that. That's a no. I'm taking that one right out. Like, no, thank you.
Really? Why not?
Yeah, I don't care. And maybe it's from growing up watching Star Trek and knowing that, like, in their mind, the parallel universe was always like something was like not good about it. I don't know. Dimension travel, I'm not sure that I'm understanding what it means, and it's kind of intriguing. Can you what?
No, that's the beauty of it, is that I can't explain it any better because I don't know what exists beyond X, Y, and Z. So, like, if there's a W, I don't know what the fuck that is, but if there is one, it'd be interesting to see what W is. That's the only way you could find out, is if you dimension traveled. But I can't explain it to you because my feeble brain doesn't understand what the fuck it means.
Yeah.
So it makes that one harder, I admit.
It does. I think that I am going to go with time travel because I do like history, and there are just like, and I love the concept of being able to time travel, but then knowing, like, because I assume you can come back, right?
Yes,
like So I love that. That's the perfect way to experience history and not have to like stay there. Because in reality, I would love to see like the 1880s, but I don't want to live with like no plumbing and aspects of the 1880s that I know are probably really terrible. And I think it would be fun. I would love to see like different, really old time. Yeah, I love time travel. I would be interested in doing the time travel, but the dimensional travel is very intriguing because I'm very intrigued by the concept of like some other, It's like you step through a wall and it's something you've never even grasped exists. So it's very tempting, but I will stick with time travel.
Okay. All right. Annie-Sage, what do you think?
What if time is just a dimension? So dimension traveling is time traveling too.
Could be.
I feel like, immediately out, parallel universe, does nothing to me. That's a whole, what should I have done? What things would have been like? It's not interesting. Time travel, I love history as well. And it would be really cool to go back to ancient civilizations. But I also feel like I would have a generally difficult time at a lot of different times. And if there's one thing I know about history and research is people were people, so it might be kind of cool, but everyone's still got like shit that they're dealing with, So I feel like I'm curious about dimension travel. Although for some reason I feel like, you could do this safely though, right?
Right. Yeah. The assumption would be that you don't immediately get vaporized.
Okay. Yeah. Then I feel like I would go with dimension travel because you could learn something, bring something back, make a difference. But time travel is appealing. But I would go with 3.
Okay. All right. I guess for me, you guys made really good arguments. I thought I knew parallel universe travel because I definitely was like, I want to know what happened if Hillary won. I want to know, like, all these things, like if I had made X choice or Y choice or whatever. But I guess it wouldn't help me because I couldn't actually affect it because I'd still be coming back to my universe. Although I guess maybe if you could like swap to the good one. You
wouldn't have to. Yeah, that's a good point. You could stay there forever.
Yeah, like if you don't come, if you're just like, oh, the one where I,
But does that break? But does that break time and dimension laws? It could.
It could. I don't know. But if it didn't, then I would just be like, okay, I'm going to buy a lottery ticket for the 500, whatever thing, and like I'll just travel to the parallel universe where I won. And now I'm like super rich and I can do whatever I want or whatever, I guess, or the one where I made like the choice where I became super famous or whatever, that kind of thing. So like if you could stay and then you could just keep going to different parallel universes and you just pick the one that you really like, then that one makes sense. If you're required to come back and you can't like live there because essentially there's already a you there, then probably time travel for the same reason as the lottery ticket, because I can then make that luck in whatever way that I want to make it. The dimensional travel would be really cool, but it would be very... The benefits of it would be temporary, because you'd like get back and then you'd be like, no, there's like a W and it's like this, and people are like, yeah, I don't understand what you're saying because I've never experienced it. And then you would just feel like a crazy person, and they would walk you away in a petted kind of thing forever, because you trying to explain to them what W is.
So yeah, but you said it's safe, so you won't get locked. I don't think you'll get locked up in a padded cell.
No, yeah, that's part of what I meant. I like that. Yeah.
I'm saying if you come back and you try and explain to people what the W dimension is, people will eventually think that you're crazy, because you're like, no, there's this thing that like, whatever, and they're like, yeah, no, that's not.
Just live with it. Just live with the knowledge.
Yeah, but it might make you crazy, because you're trying to explain to them that there's this other dimension that they're just not seeing. So. Going to chat for a minute before we wrap it up here. Joy is agreeing with you that she does not want a parallel universe.
Yeah, no parallel universe.
That's so sweet.
Michelle's going with all three for the chaos because I told her to. So it's not chaos anymore, because we knew it was happening.
I also feel like that is the most parallel universe of all, of just Michelle picks all three.
That's true. So Michelle's always doing the parallel universe. All right, that is our last question, which brings us to our end. So as we normally do, Miss Annie-Sage, where can people see more about what is going on in your world?
Oh boy, just look out the window. So dumb. I am working on a show that's going to be at the Players Theater June 25th. It is the Keep and Cozy show with Kitten Soloway, who is maybe me in a parallel universe or time travel or dimension, one of those, whatever alcohol has led to. And I'm on The Last Neighbors at the Armory Improv House Team Night. It's the dramatic improv team. We have a couple more shows for the season. And you can find me doing voiceovers, writing, acting, doing stuff at Annie-Sage everywhere on the internet.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. I put Instagram, but it's all of them. And also, I think you have the the other one. So I got graphics all over the place. Heather, what do you got going on? What do you want to tell people about that I don't have graphics for? Because
well, it's okay. I am going to throw out. I've seen bits of Annie-Sage's Kitten Soloway, and you all should try to go see it, because it's freaking hysterical. I have not laughed that hard in a long time. It's so funny. So I'm excited for you to do a full show. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Truly funny. Nothing this weekend. There's no comedy happening this weekend. I'm doing, I think it's next weekend. The next time Shot for Shot has a show, we're doing Shot for Shot, Little Shop of Horrors. Nice. That one's at the Shillelagh. So that should be fun. I think that's in 2 weeks. So that one's going to be good. Julia Darden and Nick Carrillo are playing Audrey 2.
Nice.
So
they're both.
Get ready for that plant.
Cool. And if you want to see what I got going on, you can follow us on our Instagram, Super Important Stuff. And also, if you want to see me in person, you can see me in person this Wednesday at QED at 9 o'clock. I'll be performing with Michelle Drozdick, doing a little two-prov with other really fun people. And if you want to come back to this channel on Thursday, you can see How Should I Know. I don't have the guest lineup locked up quite just yet, but I got time. I've got a couple of days. So please come check that out. Thank you so much for watching us, and we will see you again roughly around this time next week. Annie-Sage, thank you so much for being part of our show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Bye, have a good night.